So, the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom is when we say ignorance to wisdom. It is ignorance to wisdom. It demands a clear understanding. The teacher of the Eastern wisdom has to teach from the knowledge that is always available. Well, they have to structure, organize their lessons, look at the entire group and the individual, what they are seeking, how they are seeking. So, our job is to present that knowledge. You take that knowledge and change it, good. Yes. If you don't take the knowledge and you don't change, yes, we feel little hurt, but then we continue trying it. We continue trying it. So, in a way, the teacher of the Eastern wisdom is your best friend. But you have made your best friend who lives in stress and suffering. For example, who has divorced couple of times and he or she tells his or her experiences. So, and you are guided by them. Teacher guides you with the knowledge. And your best friend is guiding you through their bitter experiences. And if you are caught into that, then you have a problem. then you have a problem. Think of this. Our goal is just to pass on this knowledge, make you understand that here is the right knowledge. And in that process, we say no outer change is required to find the inner peace. You can attain that inner peace by changing inside, attitudinal changes. When I change my attitude inside, I need not to uh, look for the happiness imposed in the marriage or in the divorce or in being single. I have to look for the peace inside. So this is what the inner change is required. And that we miss. So if you have made your best friend who is guiding you, or I would say misguiding you, oh, I will tell you it's my bitter experiences. Never go for this. So you have to analyze, you have to reflect on that, what your friend is telling you, as compared to the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom. We have to pass on this knowledge without any attachment and detachment. So that process is known as the satsang. Why satsang? I said the company of the real, company of the truth. So we explain how the entire journey of the real self takes place. That is what the satsang is. It takes time. It takes time for the mind to settle that knowledge in the wisdom. It cannot happen in a day. So we need to contemplate and reflect on this Eastern wisdom. The knowledge of the Eastern wisdom is the same everywhere. It says there is one reality pervading everywhere. Everywhere. Inner change in my thought, in my emotions, transforms my outer behavior and actions. If I don't change, if the inner change is not there, and what does it mean by inner changes? So you make your friends who had the same temperament as you are, whose enemies are the same. So if you find your friend you and your friend whose enemy is the same, it is better to keep a distance with that friend. Then I can act as a best friend of you. Because once you meet them, criticism, blame, and complaint game will start. So it means it will not change my my thought and emotions. Pay attention to this. Now we are a seeker. We have to go little deeper into this. Now I can say with the certain rights, you have been attending these sessions. I will enter little more personal into your life. Even your friend, your relations, your honey, your son, your daughter, who has an idea of a blaming and complaining, it is better to keep quiet. Don't support it. And check your mind. So that you can continue to live into that state of calmness and peace. Otherwise, they will disturb your calmness and peace. You will not know it. No, no, my son or my daughter or my honey has said the right thing. No. Blaming and complaining and reacting to anyone, the outer situation in the world is wrong. I am hiding myself. I am not able to endure that situation. I'm hiding something in myself. So by satsang, we reveal those things in your life. So when we say the satsang helps to recognize, for example, one electricity in the butcher machine, in the train, in the AC, in the light, in the fan. So it changes my perception. And when my perception changes, my attitude changes. When my attitude changes, my emotions and feeling changes. It must bring that change in my life. If there are no emotional and feeling changes takes place, then I have yet to become a seeker. And that will open the gateway to what we say, the awakening. So we will go a little deeper into the samsara, the world which we have understood. There are 8 factors. 8th factor which we say the samsara is suffering. So that samsara or the world we have created because of our attitude, because of our craving, because of our ego, because of our blame, because of our claim, because of our reaction. We have created our world. You wake up in the morning and just observe your thought process. And you will see that you are surrounded by the world that you have created, which has an element of certain thoughts and the feeling and emotions. Otherwise, this mind is always free, always calm. And that is why we have to understand that is the mind foolish, doing foolishness? Is my life is unexamined? Do I have a scattered mind? Do I have a sense of attachment? Do I have a sense of emotional dependence? Do I have a sense of selfishness? Selfishness means which is caused by the likes and dislikes. Here we have a different definition of selfishness. And intellectual paralysis. Intellectual paralysis, your dear friend. See, it is my experience, you see that? And the same thing is happening in your life. You must react. You must fight. He's not good. He's not your good friend. Think, my friend. We are a seeker now. So seeker's perspective is totally different. Anytime, any blame, complaint, anger, and hesitation, it means I am hiding something in myself. I have to open myself. It is a sign of intellectual paralysis, and this is going to cause me a lot of challenges in my life. This is what the samsara master is talking about. And then we continue to change our desires. Huh? What desire of one attachment to the desire of another attachment or detachment, and that is how we live our life of pain and the suffering, and we continue to remain stressed. So, when you are examining these seven factors, that is what the self inquiry is, and that is where the satsang comes. So, whether you say satsang or satsang begins with the self inquiry, and the self inquiry starts with the one question that who am I? I am reacted to you. Am I this person? Is my mind obsessed with you? Is this obsessed I is me? I have to look into this. Without satsang, it will not happen. You simply listen to it one time. No, consistent listening is required. So when you are listening and understanding, the time comes, the attachment dissolves from your mind. The intellectual paralysis leaves you. Leaves you. First time you recognize, oh, this is the way to work on the mind. Mind has been working on me. So as you continue the journey, and then mind has a commitment to the self-discovery. Commitment to the self-discovery. You see, there is a short-term pleasure imposed by the mind on the situation, on the people, on the food, on the relations. Short-term pleasure, one. And imposed by the mind. The pleasure is imposed by the mind. Because of the pleasure imposed by the mind, we have an intellectual paralysis. Then we don't want to listen to anyone. Enough is enough. Now I'm going to divorce. Your friend will guide you to divorce. But if the teacher, if the Eastern wisdom, you make the friend, he will never guide you. He will say, divorce your reaction in the mind, divorce your ignorance in the mind. First, divorce your anxiety, divorce your reaction, divorce your duality, divorce your conflict. And then let me know whether you want to divorce. It's a big difference between the two. In order to help the mind to settle into that knowledge takes time. Takes time. That is what the satsang is. Because the mind cannot reach to a state of wisdom instantly. Intellectually, it can reach. Intellectually, it can understand, but my behavior, my attitude, my past impressions push me again and again. So the result of the satsang is that now I could realize a sense of the freedom. The mind starts living in wisdom. Emotional freedom, a sense of emotional freedom is there. In the same situation, in the same relationship, I was totally obsessed, I was craving, I was reacting, I was into anxiety, I had a sleepless nights. Now I'm able to sleep. Outer situation is the same. My internal state of the mind has changed. Pay attention to this. This is the result of satsang. If that had changed, you are on the right track. I'm reminding you again, the seven factors of the body makes us crazy. Go back and remember the seven factors. I identify myself with the body. That is one of the major causes of problems in relationship, reactions in relationship. I don't see. I am not able to objectify myself. I have subjectified myself. I am a husband. How dare you insulted your husband? How dare you insulted your father? How dare you insulted your reacted to your son, to your friend? And we are caught in this web of ignorance. I have seen 99% of the problems. You'll be surprised that many husbands meet me confidentially, provided they tell me that please don't tell my wife what to do. And other also, the wives also meet. Don't tell my husband what to do. Our goal is to pass on that knowledge. So there has to be a stress in our mind that the outer change is not required. Let the change come from within. I have to recognize my hypocrisy and let it die here and now. Then you become totally confident. In that state of confidence, that knowledge settles and you are living into the state of the calmness. And the fourth group, we said 4R: remind, recognize, revise, repeat. How long I have to revise and repeat? Until you find there is a permanent change has come into your mind. Now you can recall, though, you can invite your best friends who are very, who are always in the in the habit of blaming and complaining, because now your mind will not be impacted by them. But in the beginning, you have to be very careful. So, what is the process of this reminding, recognizing, revising, and repeating? You have to remember the discernment, DD, versus DD, the discernment and dispassion versus duality and delusion. If the mind is caught up in the duality and delusion, you have to move to dispassion and discernment. That is what the reminder is. And once you start moving from the duality and division to discernment and dispassion, you can instantly recognize and experience that, oh, here is the real self and here is the false I. And the greatest change that comes to our life, death has no value. It is the death of the body. Death is simply a change. So the very fear of death is gone from your system. A sense of fearlessness comes. And once that happens, then only we can recognize the grace and the blessing of this knowledge, of this journey. That is why the Master is saying in satsang, who you are, when you have come, who is your mother, who is your father, inquire, self inquiry, leaving aside the entire world, which is comparable to a dream. The outer world we have created is the dream, is the cause of this suffering. Now I'm asking myself, who am I? Who is my father? Who is my mother? Internal. You need not to go to your dad and say, no, who you are. That is not discernment and dispassion. I have to ask myself. I have to ask. Internal. When we live into that state of self inquiry, the satsang continues with me. Satsang continues with me. You know what happens? The more and more you are questioning this, who am I? Now you have reached to a realization that I am not the body. Now the anger you have against someone outside will disappear. Why it will disappear? Because you are angry over the body of someone. You are not angry over the someone. You will witness it clearly. And when you have that witness, that observation clearly, I'm angry over someone's body. My mind was superimposing the emotional dependence. So we are not talking about the anger management. We go to the root cause of the anger and hesitation and the reaction and the blame. And the life moves in peace and happiness. Life moves in peace and happiness. Think, I'm simply saying the teachers of the Eastern wisdom have their role is to pass on this knowledge, make you aware, and give you an opportunity to contemplate and reflect. We don't say that you believe it. You follow one principle and you change. It makes us happy. So gradually what happens, we awaken to a higher level of awareness and we realize getting agitated with others is fruitless. We don't preach, we don't give you the moral and ethical guidelines. We help you to recognize getting agitated with others is fruitless. Why? We all are the same. Think. Once we have that level of realization, now I'm smarter than you, that idea goes away. That idea is mad soul. I'm smarter than you. In what case? In one area, but I may not be smarter in other areas. So if I continue to feel that I'm smarter than you, I'll be defeated in other areas. So I'll feel insulted. You don't feel like that. And that is what the sense of equanimity in the mind takes over. Is equanimity in the mind. That is the entire journey of moving from ignorance to wisdom. Ignorance to wisdom. If I summarize today's lesson, that ignorance causes the difference and the duality and the delusion and the emotional dependence and the reaction and the blame and the complaint, it brings everything into our life. And that is what the world we have created around ourselves. Every day we wake up to the same world, and every day we sleep to the same world. And the moment we wake up to the same. I don't even think that now I won't allow my mind to enter into that area. What the way I have lived yesterday, I'm not going to live today. That is the meaning of living in awareness. That is the meaning of mindfulness, my friends. That is the meaning of mindfulness. So, what we are doing, we have separated the mindfulness from the way we live every day. No, difference is outside. But what is difference is outside is living in my mind. Why it is living in my mind? Because of the ignorance. What the ignorance is doing, the ignorance is causing this suffering. So I have to change inside. My master used to say that my mind is nothing but the reflection of the world that I have created. The world of anxiety, the world of duality, the world of difference, the world of reaction, the world of pain, and world of suffering that I have created for myself. I am constantly reflecting and I am living into that, I am suffering into that. Most important, the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom, the master in the text, in the teachings, is based on the knowledge. Knowledge of what? The knowledge of the real self. But we have to talk about what is false self. If I do not talk about the false self, how can you recognize it? So, that idea of the false self we have carried forward since our birth because of social conditioning, because of cultural conditioning, because of religious conditioning, because the way we have been brought up in our culture, in our society. So until you listen to it, you understand it, you become a seeker, you cannot get out of it. Thought is a product of knowledge. I've been saying. We are very clear. You see how clear we are. What we are passing on the thought to you. And what is a thought? Thought is a product of knowledge. So if you're a friend and you say the third person is crazy, that is also a thought and that is also a product of knowledge. But that product of knowledge that you are blaming someone is a matter of ignorance. That is what we want to make you aware of. We're just making you aware. You inquire deeply that why I have to blame and react someone in my life. There is no reason to blame. Now see the other side of it. If the mind continues to blame and it has an intense desire, intense energy, find out how many of your friends are doing this and they come to you, oh, crazy stuff. The entire world is crazy. Oh, he is crazy and she. And we are heavily conditioned by that. That mind cannot change you. I was talking in one session that I was asking the question, last point that I'm making, that we have a beautiful experiences in meditation. You all have started sharing it. Why the meditative state does not continue forever? The ignorance takes over. The duality takes over. It is already present inside. It has nothing to do with the world outside. We need a constant purity, and one way of purity is satsang. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed, and let us start our practice. Eyes are closed, being comfortable. So, first is the place. So, become more sensitive. Sensitive means I become aware of the surrounding just outside the body. The mind is still keeping that ignorance that I am the body and what is outside the body is not me. So we go with it, but in awareness, surrounding awareness in the space, the sound, the smell, and the objects of the senses. Objects of the senses, it may be the sound, it may be the smell, it may be the taste. Those incense sticks are burned during the meditation session because I have to become sensitive. And I can become sensitive, I can sensitize my mind without the incense sticks. You see, we have been living all those rituals, but we find a different meaning of these rituals. That is the journey. So we raise awareness in the position of the body. Eyes are closed in position of the body. How fast we are settled indicates we are a seeker of the higher order. We are just settled. Now the mind is pinpointed naturally. It is not struggling with the body, breath, mind, and the position. Struggle means we are not settled in the knowledge. How simple it is. And then the posture. I have never advocated one posture. One posture is not possible for everyone, depending on the position, structure, age, flexibility of the body, and being comfortable. So when you sensitize your mind to the environment, to the place, position, and the posture, you naturally become comfortable. Try this out. The entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, and experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And now, because I could see the stillness in the body, even with endurance, we need not to go in detail with being carefree. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. I believe one day these 4 lines of the mantra should become your own. Let there be happiness for all. Do you see thought, mantra, thought, product of knowledge? And this knowledge helps my mind to uproot those ideas of reaction to the world that I have created over years. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. So it's not theoretical or it's not philosophical. You experience that. You perceive that. May there be peace for all. How do you perceive that? Oh, the way you perceive the electricity in different gadgets. You are not mesmerized by the smartphone or the AC or the train or the different gadgets using the electricity. You perceive one common electricity is there. Same way. One peace is pervaded everywhere. So that perception has to do with the third eye. And that is why a lot of people talk about, a lot of masters says that, oh, this spirituality is a mystical journey. A mystical journey means that you have developed an eye which goes beyond the physical eyes. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Your mind deep inside, at the center, if it declares that I'm complete in myself, the journey is over. Sense of completeness is the wholeness, is the holiness, is the wholeness. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be an auspiciousness for all, auspiciousness for all. Why we are repeating this again and again? One day your mind will develop a perception with a discerning intellect, and it can see and feel, or it might be feeling. So once we have helped the mind to live into that higher awareness and to prevent the impurity to take over, we start with the breathing, looking deep inside the forehead in the space Om Shanti. Body is already in the state of stillness, and you start breathing quick and short breath into the rib cage. Endure, we discussed about it, and you all are very clear. At any day, on a given day, the mind will show its tantrum. What you do? If it shows its tantrum, resistance, you endure it. Enjoy the new changes, new experiences. But continue. Do not stop in the middle. Continue, because we have to build. If I use the word self-denial, attitude to the crazy mind that causes the anxiety and the suffering. Continue with quick and short breath into the rib cage. Expansion and contraction of the ribs continues, and Om Shanti continues inside the forehead, and the stillness continues. If any resistance posed by the mind, endure it. You have a new experiences in the body, accept and acknowledge it. And that is how the journey continues smoothly. Continue breathing. Do not stop in the middle. And stop it. Do nothing. Pay attention to the flow of the breath. If the flow of the breath from one nostril is less than the other, pay attention to the less flow. And you will find out the flow of the breath will become equal through both the nostrils. Now looking inside the forehead again, Om Shanti continues there and start breathing into the belly. Differentiate, it's a belly breathing, it's a longer one, goes into the lower lobes of the lungs, but according to Eastern wisdom, it has more to do with the flow of the prana. Long, deep in the hissing breath into the belly. Continue breathing into the belly. Om Shanti continues. stillness in the body continue. Now it has become very progressive for you all. You are aware of that and you can maintain that stillness. You can continue with Om Shanti in the deep inside. Long hissing breath into the belly. Belly expands during inhalation and contracts during exhalation. And stop this, do nothing, pay attention to the flow of the breath. Just keep your awareness on the flow of the breath. And obviously, whichever flow is last, you pay attention there. Otherwise, keep your awareness on the flow of both the nostrils in the state of stillness in the body. And now we are also not doing the mantra. So obviously, the mind is empty within. Now take a deep, silent and slow breath. Means first you inhale into the belly, into the rib cage, then breathe out from the belly and the rib cage. And as you inhale, the mind moves from the top center of the head into the spine, reaching to the tailbone, and you are singing Om Shanti mentally. Shanti reaches to the tailbone. As you exhale, Om, mind rises into the spine, reaches to the top of the head. Shanti ends during exhalation at the top of the head. Just see the sink. We are just more concerned about sinking. Why sinking? Because we want the mind to move into an extraordinary awareness and attention while living within. But why? To awaken. Breath is deep, silent, slow. Mind is singing and moving in the spine from the top of the head, center of the head, to the tailbone during inhalation, and from the tailbone to the top center of the head during exhalation. Shanti. And you see a smooth transition into so-called higher awareness, what we normally talk about the mystical awareness by many masters, but we understand here. So that mystical awareness is expanded form of awareness which redefines our perception. And drop this practice also. Move the mind in the cave of your heart. Look at the triangle. Moving the mind on a triangle, dropping Om Shanti clockwise, anti-clockwise. You already know it. Find the sync. And the moment you find the sync of clockwise and anti-clockwise movement, that is the time to push the mind singing Om deep into the cave of your heart. Mind seemingly stops, drop Shanti, self-absorption. There you need not to do anything. If anything disturbs in the mind, return again and go back again. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down, we'll share our experiences. How are you, Stephen? They have to leave earlier.
Good, sir. Thank you very much. I want to, based on the topic of today's lesson, I just want to say thank you for sharing with us the Eastern wisdom and being our teacher. There's a thing that took place last week that you used the term, or you told us that we are a seeker, and since then I've set that as my tone for how I start every single day. And first thing I say to myself when I get out of bed is that I'm a seeker. And for whatever profound situation it's been, it has made me very aware of other people and their perceptions and the way that they look at things, and it's made it very easy for that not to affect me, and then create this self-reflection and immediately trigger the principles of the Eastern wisdom to look at things, and it's put me in a place to where it I would say I'm living within my essential nature, and that today's meditation was truly indicative of that, because from the moment I closed my eyes, I was with you, but I was so settled that at a point I actually asked myself, am I sleeping? And I wasn't, but that's how calm and settled I was during today's meditation. So thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Stephen, sharing this. One of the most important things you shared, I wanted to discuss about it. Every day you wake up in the morning, so instead of saying I'm a Stephen, I'm a businessman, or I'm a husband, can I say that I am a seeker? So the way I recognize I'm a father, so I'm related to someone, I'm honey, I'm related to someone in the world, but I'm a seeker, I'm related to myself. I never see this understanding. I never see. And when I don't see that I am a seeker, then I become someone, and that is what the seven factors takes over me. Think. You rightly thought. You gave the words to my mouth to talk about it. Yes, in the early, every day in the morning, I have to become a seeker. Then what seeker has to do, what seeker not has to do. I'm like throughout the day, I become aware. I have not to do this. What I have not to do this. Seven factors. And that changes the whole perspective of life. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. Very, very deep meditation. Breathing was equal and seamless. At the end, dark space and full absorption.
Beautiful. Breathing was, seamless and equal, and self-absorption. It helps you. Sometimes you don't want to say anything because you're totally absorbed inside into that extraordinary awareness. So it is also okay. How are you, Brandy?
Morning, thank you. I liked in the lesson when you said that if your friend asks you if they should get divorced, you tell them divorce your stuff yourself, right? You divorce your own stuff,
Yes.
not another person. And so I noticed that when my meditation was pretty deep, but when things came up, I was like, no, I'm divorcing that. I'm not staying attached to that.
Yes.
Or getting involved with that.
Getting involved with it. No, otherwise, we are just in the journey of divorce, single, married, fighting. But don't use only divorce in many sense, in different sense. We have to be very clear in our head. And that is what the wisdom is. Beautiful, beautiful. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. I have some background noise. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
I was wondering about anger because I would question. There's some perspectives about feeling your anger, releasing anger that you've been suppressing. So, from an Eastern perspective, would that be that that's not necessary?
Yes, it's a good question. I think I have taken up that question couple of weeks ago. So we say that mind has the six enemies. What are those six enemies? It begins with the strong likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment, which causes the desire. Desire for something or someone. So, desire to, now you have a desire to get something, you have already achieved it. So, my mind wants to repeat it. So, repeat desire is a greed. Now, if the desire is not fulfilled, that agitates the mind, and that very hesitation causes the anger. Why you are angry? Why I am angry? Why anyone is angry? My desire is not fulfilled. Go back before a step further. My strong attachment to an object or a person that I did not achieve. But why I did not achieve? Because I superimposed the pleasure and happiness on that object, which I want to achieve, which I want to grab. So the entire journey of anger, hesitation, stress, and the suffering, especially the anger, So that desire becomes the anger, that desire becomes the greed, that desire becomes the delusion, that desire becomes the pride, that desire becomes the jealousy. Eastern psychology is still trying to find out what to do, release it. You have released your anger, but you have not released the cause of your anger. The cause of your anger is the desire, and the desire has its home in the strong attachment and detachment. So as long as you do not understand why this attachment and detachment is there in my life, you cannot get rid of the anger. So release your anger every day. How long you are going to repeat? The entire lifetime, release your anger every day. Because that cannot be released. So that is how we understand one facet of it. So yes, you have a good question to ask, but that is another way to answer it. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. The practice was calm. I was absorbed, quiet.
Good, quite good, very good. You see, you have to go. Yes, I have to talk. Terry, you want to say anything or you are quiet? Okay, so it's okay. Remain quiet. So you understand that point, it is the mind mind is an instrument of consciousness. But if the mind is the master, you have these 6 enemies: strong likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment. It causes the desire, binding desire. Binding desire means I have imposed a happiness on you, and if you cannot become my soulmate, I will be agitated. By the way, you all are my soulmate. So, so, so now that idea that you cannot, why don't you love me? Because I love you so intense. But is that really love? It is an attachment. That is what we say, one-sided love. So whether it has an attachment with an object or a person or a thing or a relationship, so that desire now working in my mind, which is going to cause either anger or hesitation because the desire is not fulfilled. And I come to you and I say, you are my soulmate and I love you, and you say, I hate you. My anger erupts. So, or anger or the repeat desire means the greed. Now, if I am caught in these two, hesitation, desire is not fulfilled and desire is fulfilled. Sometimes our desires are fulfilled based on our level of the society. So now these two causes the delusion. And then I start thinking I have to release my anger. You cannot release your anger. You have to get rid of the cause of very anger and the hesitation, which is the beginning. So that is all for today. We will meet again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.